Machiavelli never wrote a self-help manual. He never lectured about focus the way modern gurus preach. No countdown timers, no dopamine detox, no endless lists of morning rituals. And yet, he grasped something deeper, something far more dangerous. The true power of focus is not about productivity. It is about domination, manipulation, and cutting a path through a chaotic world designed to keep you distracted, docile, and drained. Focus is not a tool, it is a weapon. And when you learn to wield it like Machiavelli did, you stop reacting and start directing. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop trying to change your life, you simply do. Because here's what Niccolò understood. The average man does not lack potential, he lacks direction. His mind is not empty, it is scattered. His power is not absent, it is leaking. And the first law of power is this: what is dispersed becomes weak. What is concentrated becomes unstoppable. So the question isn't merely how to focus. The real question is how to weaponize focus. Cut without mercy. Focus begins with subtraction. Most people try to focus by adding more apps, more strategies, more routines, more goals. But Machiavelli knew focus doesn't start with addition. It starts with elimination. He once advised rulers, "The wise prince must imitate both the fox and the lion. The fox avoids traps, the lion eliminates threats. For you, the trap is distraction. The threat is too many options." Your mind isn't cluttered because of weakness. It's cluttered because of indulgence. You've made yourself available to everything, committed to nothing. Here's what a Machiavellian would do. Cut 90% of the goals you think you need. Say no to people who steal your time with guilt instead of value. Stop trying to excel at everything. Master one thing so powerfully that the world bends around you. Because every time you say yes to too much, your energy dilutes. And diluted energy is not power. It is noise. Machiavelli's law: what you exclude defines you more than what you include. Choose one battlefield and burn every escape route. Escape. He believed a prince must choose his wars carefully, and once committed, never fight half-heartedly. That same law applies to your focus. If you want transformation, you cannot dabble. You must declare war. Pick one domain of your life where you will be unreasonably focused. Master your craft. Forge a body that commands respect. Build a business that frees you forever. And once chosen, burn the ships behind you. No fallback, no plan B, only total psychological commitment. Modern thinkers may call it deep work. Machiavelli would call it territorial control of the mind. You occupy that ground so fully, so consistently, that rivals either kneel or disappear. Because visibility is the enemy of mastery. One behavior kills more ambition than failure ever could: availability. Always replying, always online, always accessible. Machiavelli warned rulers to remain mysterious, unpredictable, and silent when necessary. Why? Because silence breeds fear, and fear breeds power. But there is another reason. When you are always reachable, your energy is always leaking. And a leaking mind cannot build a legacy. A distracted man cannot be dangerous. So here is your move. Cut 90% of notifications. Do deep work while others scroll. Block out 3 sacred hours where you vanish. No noise, no chaos, no world. You don't owe availability. You owe yourself progress. Let absence create demand for your presence. Now manufacture pressure. Power grows under heat. Machiavelli once wrote that necessity drives men to act. He believed luxury softens, comfort kills. The most focused men in history didn't wait for motivation. They built pressure, artificial or real. It doesn't matter. How do you do it? Set impossible deadlines, cut safety nets, make your reputation ride on execution. Bet money, bet pride, bet ego. You will focus when something is at stake. Machiavelli knew fear sharpens the mind, As fire purifies gold, pressure purifies attention. So stop waiting for the right mood. Create storms that force obsession, not balance, control. Society worships balance, a soft word for half-effort living. Machiavelli would spit on balance. He exalted control, the power to bend reality to your will. So when you wake, don't ask, "What's balance today?" Ask, "What action gives me maximum control over my future?" It may cost you social hours. It may demand sleepless nights. It may mean training as if survival depends on it. Because it does. Your future depends on it. Balance is for the comfortable. Control is for the powerful. Focus is violence against distraction. You must see it as war. It is not soft, not gentle. It is ruthless. It is a declaration against your weaker self. Every urge whispers, check the phone, open the app, scroll just once. Machiavelli counseled rulers to use cruelty only when needed, but when they did, to strike decisively. The same law governs distraction. You don't negotiate with it. You kill it coldly, completely, without apology. Uninstall the app, block the site, cut the person. Remove the excuse. You will not outthink distraction. You will eliminate it. You must overpower it. Shape your day like a tyrant, not a wanderer. Most people wake up as tourists in their own lives, drifting, waiting, reacting. Machiavelli would call that a pitiful way to exist. Instead, order your day as a tyrant orders his state, ruthlessly. Every hour must kneel before your will. Every task must serve the mission. Every minute must be claimed. This doesn't mean lifeless routines. It means sovereignty. The powerful do not beg for time, they command it. This is how you begin to focus like a Machiavellian, not for calm, but for control, not to improve your life, but to seize it. Because in a world drowning in distraction, the man who focuses becomes a god. Let them scroll. Let them drift. You, meanwhile, build silently, sharply, violently, and by the time they notice, it will already be too late. If you still think focus is about closing your eyes, breathing deeply and whispering affirmations, then you've missed the point entirely. We are not here to merely concentrate. We are here to conquer, to bend the environment, the mind, and even time itself, until all things move to your rhythm. That was Machiavelli's focus. Command, a mental monarchy where no thought strays, no impulse escapes punishment, no action is wasted. What you are creating is not simply discipline. You are constructing a fortress of the mind. And inside that fortress, only two things survive: purpose and precision. Build this internal fortress. Protect your attention like a state secret. Machiavelli warned rulers, the gravest threats come from within, not without. Betrayal, weakness, disloyalty, always born inside the walls. Apply this to yourself. Your lack of focus doesn't come from the world. It comes from within, from laziness, anxiety, impulses, hunger for validation. You must govern your inner kingdom like a tyrant governs a palace. Identify the rebel voices and crush them. When the mind drifts, punish the drift. Drag it back with force. Every time you resist distraction, reward it. Train your mind like a guard dog. Your attention is your crown. Drop it for even a moment and someone else will wear it. Focus on the leverage point. Not everything deserves mastery. Machiavelli never believed in doing all things. He believed in doing what mattered most. In power, 90% of success comes from 10% of action. That means your focus must be selective, not scattered. Ask yourself, what is the leverage point? If you're building a business, is it outreach or content? If you're shaping your body, is it sleep or intensity? If you're earning respect, is it presence or persuasion? One precise strike is worth 100 wild blows. The sniper defeats the machine gun. And Machiavelli would remind you, kingdoms are won through precision, not effort. Stop chasing more. Instead, identify the keystone habit, the vital action, the critical relationship, and dominate it. Train the mind like a spy. Observe every mental movement. The greatest rulers, Machiavelli wrote, were not merely violent. They were strategic. They did not act randomly. They watched, they waited, and they struck with surgical force. Your mind must do the same. If you cannot observe your own mind, it will forever rule you. Begin noticing. When does your attention collapse, and why? What hours of the day sharpen you? What triggers scatter you? What patterns fuel your best focus? This is not New Age reflection. This is tactical surveillance. Spy on yourself as if planning a coup, because you are. Once you can observe without emotion, you can redirect without resistance. Create a ritual of war. Enter focus as you enter battle. Each time you sit to work, you engage in combat, not with the world, but with your weaker self, your distracted self, your indulgent self. Machiavelli valued rituals, not for mysticism, but because they primed the mind for violence, for power, for clarity. So forge your own ritual of war, something that signals to the brain, now we build. It could be sitting in the same chair under the same light. It could be playing a soundtrack that commands intensity. It could be opening a blank page and striking one cold, decisive sentence before anything else. This is how warriors sharpen the blade. You don't ease into battle, you prepare for war. Assume the mask of focus. Become what you pretend to be. Machiavelli obsessed over appearances, not for morality but for psychology. If others believe you are relentless, cold, and unshakably focused, then you will begin to believe it as well. So fake it, but with precision. Dress like someone on a mission. Speak less. Listen more. Move like your time is priceless. Carry a notebook, a plan, not for display, but to remind yourself, I am not here to wander. I am here to win. At first it will feel like an act. Good. Let it. Machiavelli knew that power begins in perception, and what you enact often enough becomes real. Use solitude as a weapon. Isolation creates vision. Machiavelli wrote his most enduring work, not from a throne, but in exile. After betrayal, torture, and banishment, he retreated to his estate and wrote The Prince, a book that shaped the world. Why? Because in solitude, the mind sharpens, the noise dies, the truth rises. So do not fear isolation, create it. Block out days to disappear. Go where no one expects you. Cut every external validation and sit in silence. At first your mind will howl, it will claw for stimulation. That's good. That means the purge has begun. And once it's complete, you will see the world not as a servant, but as a strategist. Focus demands a hierarchy of values. Not everything is equal. Machiavelli never believed in equality. He believed in orders, ranks, hierarchies. You must install the same order in your own mind. Not all thoughts are equal. Not all actions deserve attention. Not all goals deserve space on your list. Create a strict hierarchy. Mission-critical tasks daily, no matter what. Maintenance tasks to support the mission. Nice-to-have tasks, minimal energy. Forbidden, anything that drags you away from what you must become. Every time you obey this order, your focus strengthens. Every time you blur the lines, it weakens. Power belongs to the man who knows exactly what deserves his energy and burns everything else. Collapse time. Do in 3 hours what others waste 3 days doing. Machiavelli wasn't just efficient, he was intense. When he acted completely. No hesitation, no dragging, no delay. He knew time isn't measured in minutes, but in decisiveness. So if you want mastery of focus, stop trying to stretch it. Focus sharper, not longer. Work in sprints, not marathons. Attack tasks like a predator, not a peasant. Ask yourself, if I had only 1 hour to make massive progress, what would I do? Then do that every day. That is how you bend time, because focus is not just doing. It is deciding, quickly, clearly, with force. Now you know what Machiavelli would demand from a focused man. Ruthless selection, sharp rituals, tactical solitude, decisive execution. Because to transform your life, focus alone is not enough. You must know what to focus on. And that changes everything. The sharpest blade is useless if it strikes in the wrong direction. The world is full of men who can concentrate on the wrong things. They obsess over minor wins, petty drama, fleeting pleasures, while the throne of their potential stays empty. Machiavelli didn't just teach focus. He taught targeting, strategic vision, knowing precisely where to place energy so that when you strike, the world shifts. This is not productivity, this is positional warfare. And in Machiavelli's system, focus becomes a weapon of domination, not discipline. Now you must learn how to aim, identify the power nodes, focus where influence flows. Not all tasks are equal. Not all people are equal. Some are nodes, leverage points that control disproportionate influence. Machiavelli advised rulers to focus not on the masses, but on generals, nobles, financiers. The few who control the many, control the few, and you control all. You must do the same. Look around and ask, which skill unlocks the highest return? Which relationship opens the most doors? Which platform amplifies my message tenfold? That is where your focus belongs, not on what's urgent, not on what's popular, but on what controls the system. 1,000 random actions will never equal one precise strike at a power node. Break the cycle of passive consumption. Only take in what strengthens you. You cannot focus if you constantly feed your brain junk, scrolling, reacting, drowning in drama. Machiavelli warned, men are driven by two things, fear and appetite. And the appetite for stimulation is how most men destroy their focus. If you want to focus like a strategist, consume like a strategist. Read not for escape, but for ammunition. Watch not for distraction, but to decode. Listen not to kill time, but to sharpen the blade. When consumption becomes fuel instead of escape, your entire energy shifts. Your brain stops craving distraction and starts craving execution. You stop zoning out and start zoning in. Experiment with ruthless intensity. Test, break, rebuild. Machiavelli was not a philosopher locked in an ivory tower. He tested, he failed, he studied human nature with a scientist's cold eye. That's how he forged truths that still govern the world. You must bring the same cold precision to your focus strategy. Ask yourself, what hours give me deepest concentration? What environments drain me? What fuel, what sounds, what spaces ignite my edge? Track results with ruthless honesty. Cut what fails, amplify what works. The average man tries to focus. The Machiavellian engineers focus. He builds it like a weapon, upgraded, battle-tested, deadly. Install a supreme mission. Everything else bends to it. At the center of every empire is one obsession, so clear and consuming it organizes every action around it like gravity. Machiavelli urged rulers to pursue glory, not vanity. Glory sharpens the soul. It filters decisions. It kills distraction. You need the same. Not vague ambition, not weak dreams of wealth, but a mission so sharp it bleeds. Build the most feared consulting firm in your city. Become the highest paid operator in your niche. Forge a physique so commanding people move aside when you enter. Once you have that, every hour has a compass. Every decision either serves the mission or dies. This is how you stop trying to stay focused. You give yourself something so immense, so dangerous, that the brain has no choice but to obey. Guard against the saboteur within, the enemy inside. Machiavelli's darkest warning was this: a man who conquers others but not himself is still a slave. You can block apps, cut people, control your calendar, but if the voice inside whispers guilt, doubt, hesitation, you will leak energy forever. Focus is not just discipline, it is self-rule. Kill guilt when you say no, silence shame when you choose solitude, destroy doubt when you aim too high. Because the inner saboteur is clever, it wears many masks. He'll come to you sounding like a friend. He'll whisper, "Just rest," or "You're being too intense." But Machiavelli would cut through that voice with fire, not comfort. No man ever rose by being reasonable. The saboteur must be exiled, not entertained. So build armor around your focus. External structure protects inner clarity. Focus dies in chaos, not because you're weak, but because unstable ground topples even the greatest warrior. Machiavelli told rulers to fortify their walls before battle. You must fortify your life the same way. A workspace that provokes intensity, a morning ritual that eliminates drift, a calendar with lockdown hours. These are not good habits. They are barricades, psychological fortresses that protect your will when the world comes knocking. You don't need raw willpower when your environment shields you. Then make boredom your ally. Stillness is a superpower. Focus isn't only about striking, it's about endurance. And boredom destroys endurance, not because boredom is poison, but because men run from it. Machiavelli spent hours in silence, thinking, scheming, writing, sharpening his vision. You must relearn to sit with nothing, no music, no screens, no noise, just a pen and your thoughts. 20 minutes. It will feel like withdrawal because you're detoxing from distraction. But once you master stillness, you master storms, your mind bends to you, then build feedback loops. Never push blindly. Machiavelli despised force without reflection. He believed in feedback. Observe, adjust, reapply. That's how power grows, and it's how focus sharpens. After each sprint, reflect. What drove you? What drained you? Refine, cut, amplify. Most men wield focus like a dull hammer. You wield it like engineered steel, refined, updated, sharpened. Because the one who adapts fastest dominates. And here lies the ultimate step. Make focus your identity, not your tool. Machiavelli would remind you, true power is not what you do, it's who you are. You don't use focus. You are focus. It's in your posture, your voice, the way you enter a room and everyone feels. This man knows exactly what he wants. When focus becomes your second skin, power comes to you. But there's one more crucible: emotional control. Because without it, focus cracks. The world baits you daily: noise, conflict, flattery, chaos. And most men collapse right when it matters most. Not because they lack discipline, but because they never trained under fire. Focus is easy when it's quiet. But that's rehearsal, not war. The battlefield is deadlines exploding, insults flying, doubts creeping, people panicking, while you remain cold, ruthless, precise. Machiavelli admired not calm men, but unbreakable strategists, those who ruled storms while others drowned. That's fortress mind, emotional immunity. Staying still while the world burns, not to be dead inside, but to maintain control while others unravel. Focus dies the second your emotions drive. Most people implode from small cuts: a rude message, a bad number, a careless word. Tiny grenades that detonate their entire day. You must disarm them. When triggered, wait 10 seconds. Name the emotion. That's envy. That's guilt. That's fear. Then dismiss it like a servant. Your mission is royalty. Others drown in feelings. You rise in silence. And finally, treat attention as currency. Spend it only where return is highest. Machiavelli knew perception was value. The prince seen too often is weak. The prince who appears rarely, decisively, powerfully, commands loyalty. Your attention is the same. Every time you spend it on drama, noise, or digital slot machines, you lose leverage. So invest it. Conversations that build, plans that scale, focus spent where power compounds. That is how the strategist lives. Put energy only where returns are exponential. This is how you stop being busy and become legendary. You don't manage time. You allocate attention like a king distributing gold. Weaponize focus as a display of power. Focus isn't just a private edge. It's a social weapon. Watch what happens when you hold eye contact while everyone else checks their screens, when you stay silent while they overshare, when you work while they gossip. People begin to whisper, "He's different, he must be onto something, I want in." Focus breeds mystery. Mystery breeds status. Status breeds fear and desire. Use restraint as proof of power. Let others project greatness onto your silence. Let them chase your clarity while they drown in noise. Detox from weak associations. The focus leech effect is lethal. You can be sharp, committed, relentless, yet become dull by osmosis if you surround yourself with the unfocused. Machiavelli warned that bad advisors destroy great rulers. The same is true for your circle. You don't need yes-men or dopamine junkies. You don't need people who mock your intensity. You need allies who operate like assassins, quiet, precise, sharpening you by their presence. Mentors who feed your mission rather than dilute it. Cut the leeches, even if they're family. Charm does not equal allegiance. Anyone who breaks your rhythm is a saboteur, not an ally. Create a public commitment. Trap yourself into excellence. Machiavelli loved traps, cunning devices that force outcomes. Trap yourself into discipline. Declare your mission publicly. Tell the world you're building something massive. Set a countdown. Let others expect results. Why? Because reputation becomes a leash. Your ego now has to deliver. Focus stops being optional. It becomes survival. Raise the stakes until failure is too embarrassing to tolerate. Leverage your pride. Weaponize expectation. Burn the escape routes. Motivation will follow necessity. Build a system of silence. Operate without noise. Noise is not merely sound. It's updates, commentary, explanation, endless justification. It's telling people every move to those who will never understand your mission. Machiavelli worked in silence. His influence came more from what he withheld than what he proclaimed. Do the same. Don't explain your grind. Don't justify your absence. Execute. Let action echo while your mouth stays shut. A man building something terrifying in the dark is more dangerous than a loud man promising greatness in the light. Make failure part of the system. Expect collapse. Rebuild anyway. Machiavelli knew exile, torture, rejection. He learned to treat setbacks as chapters, not conclusions. You will lose focus. You will waste days. You will spiral sometimes. Rule: never miss twice. One bad hour, move on. One distracted day, recalibrate. No mourning, no whining, no explanations. Return to the fortress and continue. The man who can fail and refocus in hours, not weeks, is unstoppable. Maintain the eagle view. Always see the grand strategy. Machiavelli warned against short-sightedness. A good prince sees not just today, but the decade ahead. While others panic, the strategist is 3 moves forward. Treat your focus the same. Don't merely fix tasks, design systems. Don't treat symptoms, alter patterns. Don't hustle blindly. Ask, what empire am I building? This clarity preserves energy when others collapse under chaos because you aren't reacting, you're positioning. That is the final form of focus, not merely locking in, but knowing where to aim and when to strike. You've gone beyond ordinary concentration. You've crossed into strategy, command, and psychological warfare. Focus is no longer practice, it's identity. A mask you wear until it becomes your skin, a blade you sharpen until it cuts through time, noise, and weakness. You are no longer a man trying to stay disciplined. You are a prince operating from the shadows, building in silence, striking with precision, and the world will never see it coming.